Let's see what kind of retro games and more we can find at the TORG Gamers Market in Sandusky, Ohio.
I'm looking for a Chrono Trigger manual and map. That's probably the big ones I'm after, but it's always about the vibe too, and anything interesting that jumps out.
TORG mixed it up this year, moving from Columbus in November to Sandusky in June at the Cedar Point Sports Complex, and really put the focus on it being a gamer's market. That retro guy and I got VIP tickets, letting us in an hour early on the first day, since the best deals usually don't last long at these shows. I really wish the Blue Wii was backwards compatible, and this Xbox at $55 is a bargain. One of our favorite vendors always brings interesting pieces like this We Have Nintendo sign and a vintage official Nintendo cart from the 80s. I've been looking for a Game Boy camera to use while I'm streaming Super Game Boy games as my webcam, and at $35, I definitely had to pick this one up. I couldn't believe the amount of Master System games this vendor had, and a lot of them were PAL imports, but the Master System is region free, so the PAL versions will run at 60 Hz on an NTSC system. This was the only RE4 controller that I saw here, but at $400 it would have been my entire budget for the show, and I'm deciding I'd rather get the GameCube version. Now, there were other things available besides video games, such as Pokemon cards, arts and crafts, gaming swag, and apparel, and there was even some things to do like IRL Mario Golf and a free play area with consoles and some interesting arcade games. During the VIP hour, we found this $5 bin that had an Xbox 360 Oblivion Collector's Edition with the map, but sadly not the coin, as well as this GTA Liberty City and Vice City Stories slipcover, but only included a case for Liberty City Stories, but in that case was a copy of Vice City Stories. It's a bit scratched, but we'll see if we can get repaired and save quite a few bones. It was cool seeing one of the PlayStation 3 3D TVs here. Finding a Sega CDX in working condition is becoming increasingly hard as well.
Dang, is this that old Claire Obscure everyone's talking about?
There were also quite a few indie games here on display, such as the Violets of Amicus, which they describe as
very much like a 2D Zelda and 3D Breath of the Wild. The difference is we're in Breath of the Wild, weapons break, weapons degrade in this game. So what you're able to do with those degraded weapons is merge them back up into stronger stuff. So that's kind of the main mechanic gameplay loop that we have going on here in the Violets of Amicus.
I thought these were vintage Tomy Pokemon displays, but it turns out they're actually 3D printed. However, this sign at $5,500 was absolutely incredible. This Sonic for Game Gear box is in super good condition, and we agreed on a price at $60, so yeah, that came home with me. I brought a loose copy of Sonic Adventure 2 for the Dreamcast to try and trade, and Game On offered me $70 for it credit. However, I saw they had a copy of Metal Gear Solid for the Game Boy Color for $130. I asked if I could do the trade and $40 cash for it, which they accepted, finally snagging a copy of this outstanding Game Boy entry. We only went for Saturday, but there was so much to see. Some really fun cosplayers were in attendance roaming the show floor. I always appreciate their commitment. TORG will be back next year in Columbus, but this was an excellent in-between event in the meantime. If you went, let me know what you grabbed, or if you saw something in this video that you would have. Thanks, and cheers.